What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Drinks and Dogs, and this is a really special episode. We are at Ray Allen right now, I am with the man himself, Matt Wilson.
So, hey guys, Mike Jones with Primal Canine. Nice to see you guys tonight.
So I start off every episode with cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching, guys. Oh, I don't know why this is happening again, but I guess we're doing that again. All right, I have no fucking clue what just happened, but apparently we're rejoining the event. So again, if you guys missed out on that part, this is episode 14 of Drinks and Dogs, and we are at Ray Allen with Matt Wilson, and we just cheers and everything like that. Okay. Yeah, you know, all that fun stuff. So yeah, guys, basically what we're gonna do today is we're just gonna go over what we've been doing over this last week. Just have a normal conversation. You get to witness Matt's and mine amazing relationship. It's very loving and sensual. And we'll talk a little bit about how it all got started and everything that we've been doing. So yeah, man, I know you've been really busy doing everything that you're doing consistently and all the improvements you've done.
Yeah, too busy for you, for sure.
Of course. I mean, that's why I don't answer my phone calls. Besides many other reasons. Yeah, I mean, so tell me how you got started with Ray Allen. And then also for everyone who doesn't know, Matt is actually a really great, talented dog trainer as well.
Mediocre at best.
At Ethos Canine. So we'll talk about that too. So
don't hit me up. I'm not working that right.
So let's talk about how you got started with Ray Allen.
I'm one of those like horrible trainers that started my career at PetSmart. But I definitely knew that like there was, way more than this. And so 10 years ago, I started my own company trying to just do pet dogs and just do behavior modification and learn more. I went out, did some helper stuff on, some Mondio fields and stuff like that, learn how to take bites. I started buying equipment. I looked up, dog equipment online, and so I bought some dog equipment from Ray Allen, and every time I was shipped dog equipment, I didn't even think about it. And then I looked on one of my receipts one time and it said Colorado Springs, Colorado, and the address was literally down the street from me. And I was like, son of a bitch, I have been paying $12 fucking every shipment to go 1 mile to my house. So I started coming in here buying stuff. So 6 years ago, the president of the company at the time really wasn't trainer oriented. So we we were just equipment. We didn't talk about training. We didn't talk about any of that stuff. It was just equipment. And I was in here, and the guy was trying to ask, another customer was asking if we could, explain, how to use, and I think it was like a puppy rag or something. And I was explaining it to him. And one of the managers here, Billy, which is one of the manufacturing, he's the guy at Ray Allen. You guys see my face, but he's the guy that, is sitting behind.
That's Dad.
Yeah, 100%. That's Dad. But he's been here for over 20 years. Die hard to this company. And he literally just walked up to me and was like, you ever thought about working here? So I filled an application. We did an interview, started working here. I worked as just a cutter for a long time, which is the guy that cuts all the nylon Velcro for all the harnesses. Did that. Started showing like I wanted more. I wanted to design things. I think the hard thing about dog trainers is that we all are the smartest people in the world and no one else knows what we're talking about. And we're better than everybody. So I think one of the hardest things, thank you. One of the hardest things that, I had to do was take a little piece of like humble pie and understand that I wasn't going to reinvent the wheel and that Ray Allen has been here for 72 years this year. And so it was, how can we work together? And I don't need to run by myself. And then that started, with Billy and I designing like the Icon harness. And that led to, a lot of different designs, a lot of the products that we've come out with over the last couple of years, and then also starting the Instagram and Facebook. So yeah, long-winded excuse, but that's what we started with. So,
so you guys have made, in my opinion, you guys made tremendous amounts of like improvements in multiple facets of like as far as the company wise. as far as building the community, the social media aspect of it, the incorporation of different trainers, different people,
Absolutely.
and just doing all these things. And you guys have done a lot. And I remember like the first, I talk about this all the time. I remember the first conversation we had, and like that's like we talked about like during the interviews, was just like, you reaching out and talking to us, and like, even like in the fun, and like that's what like one of the best parts about, because we always bought your equipment, and that's
Right.
one of the best parts about like my favorite part about the relationship, that how it got started, was just like the weird DM that I always talk about, was like, I've been watching you from afar,
100%.
and I was just like, it was like, these are my people.
Yeah, no, it's well. I mean, I think that's the inherent issue, is that like, we see on Instagram, like we get in a suit, we get bit by a dog, or like we can do a front flip, or like whatever, right? Like we're like, we do it for Instagram, right? And like the saying, like, do it for the gram, and like, so my thing was that I didn't want to like do it for the gram. I just wanted to like meet people in this industry. And so it was like talking to like, Ted, and like talking to like, Hagnam and all of those guys, and like working on radio, and like all of, how they did
all
their
the cuties over that HRD.
Sexy ladies over there. Not talking to you, Alicia. That's all Ted and everybody else. No, but just like how, like it was just about building a community. It wasn't about like, oh, your training sucks, my training's better, or like your equipment sucks. And Ray Allen, we did have like a we're Ray Allen, fuck you mentality for a long time, and I didn't want it. I didn't like it. We really wanted to be like, what were the needs of people that were, big in the industry. I was looking at Instagrams of people that had a good following, and just DMing them and being like, like what do you see as like a fault of ours? The equipment, like what do you not like? Like what do you do like? Like let's keep going on the stuff that we do, and then like all the stuff that we do wrong, like I would like to know. I think the problem is that people, they get equipment and they're like, this is bad, and then they toss it instead of going, I think that this could be better if we did A, B, and C. And that was, I think, the first conversation with Mike where, like I had talked to, trainers or people, and we had talked about equipment, and they're just, all your suits are big. I'm like, well, yeah, police don't like to be bit by dogs. So, they're going to buy those suits because they don't want to be bit by dogs. That's how that works. But we would like to put people in suits like our trainer suit, or now our semi-comp suit, where they can work a dog and they can feel it, because I was, like you said, I train dogs too, and I like catching dogs, and I like doing that stuff. So I think the first thing was I hit him up, and, one of the biggest things was he wasn't like, well, if you can give me this, this, and this, then I can promote it here, here, and here, and then you can do this. Like he was just, like we just talked, and like we weren't, like he wasn't trying to sell me on what he was doing. I wasn't trying to sell him on Ray Allen. It was just like, how can we make each other better? And then it grew very quickly from that. And that's where you see like the ideas from like the Incog, and like those came very quickly because he felt comfortable enough to hit me up and go, hey, I have this idea. And I'm like, oh, I've been thinking about something like that. Let's kind of like work. Here's prototype 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 26, and how do you like them? Okay, let's change this. Let's do this. Okay, oh, that's a good idea. And we kind of like work together instead of being, like we've worked with people before where, we're like, oh, like that's a really good idea. We'd like to make that for you. And they're like, okay, well, we want 20% of all sales, and that's it. And I'm like, can we talk more? Nope. And, so that's difficult because it's not a working relationship. And that's something that with Mike was different, because we actually built a friendship through the working relationship. And I think that's how it really should be. And you really start actually seeing that through like PCU. It's like, I wish I could, like, I was telling him, I wish I could match Andy's like umph on this. Like, I want that. Like, I'm going to start giving you equipment just to like hype me up daily. Just so Andy, hit me in the DMs anytime. But it's like a working relationship, and then it turns into a friendship, and then it turns into what we're doing now. But I think that's the hard part, is that, people want that really quick satisfaction and like validation. Yeah. And like you were like, I'm willing to wait to like make something great. Yeah. And like we're willing to work hard to make something great. And that was what I wanted to see. because I'm the same way. So
build and progress. I mean, like that's a huge thing. If you guys see us eating food, it's just because we've been filming the last couple of days, and we wait till the last minute to eat. So this is basically our first meal of the day. So another thing too, like Matt glanced over when we were talking about like the training. Like a lot of times I get the conversation of like, oh, is Ray also making the big puffy suits and all this other stuff.
Yes, we are.
They still make the big puffy suits, but they also make a very, very, very good semi-com suit, and that's something that we've been working on for 2.5 years now.
Yeah, we're still progressing it, and we're still, trying to make things better and this better and that better, and should we add padding here or take padding away from there, or like. And I think that's the important part is that where like it's always a progression. If like, oh, round they make the like puffy suits. Well, okay, and like what else? Like we make a lot of equipment. If we hold our hand on one thing, then yeah, it's not going to be like, oh, well, they make the puffy suit. If that's all we are, then that's all we are. What we want is we want something like Mike, where he was like, hey, have you ever thought about making something like this? And I was like, yep, like let's do it. Like, come out to Colorado. Let's talk about designs. Let's look at stuff. Like, and that was where the first one came in, and he got destroyed in it because we put nothing in it.
Took that to New York. That was really fun.
So, we worked on that, so it's the progression, like you were saying.
Yeah. And the like one of the big things like most people don't really understand when it comes to like, Ray Allen is like, they see this giant like company, this giant influence, and I don't think a lot of people understand, like, right behind this wall is, the manufacturing side, and there's a handful of tables where people are actually sewing your stuff here. It is made here. It is produced here through, dozens of people or a dozen people. And, these people are actually doing the inventory. And I've had the privilege and the honor of actually coming to Ray Allen and seeing how they do things and seeing the hard work that these guys put in and the consistent movement that these guys are always doing. Like, there's not a time where I've watched one guy, sit down and not do anything besides this guy.
Right now.
But I mean, like, these guys are all, all jokes aside, these guys are all very hardworking, and and it is a an American made company, and these guys put in the work. So that's one thing, like, a lot of people to understand, especially when it comes to all the manufacturing and respecting the stuff that all these guys do. When I first started working with them, it was Matt and Billy. Or actually, I first met Matt, and then when I flew down here was Billy, and understand like just the massiveness of the influence that this company has, but also just how small like the company is, and like what, like, as far as like how intricate it is, and like the amount of responsibilities and like the hats everyone has to wear is insane. And that's the thing I stress too. A lot of the people like to ask me questions about, can I get a custom this, can I get a custom this around? I was like, you got to hit them up. And I was like, we don't know, like, the amount of projects that these guys have to do on a daily basis, and the workload that they have is, it's insane. And that's the thing that besides the fact that I've already been a really loyal and, I've always liked Ray Allen stuff. When I first got here, and I was like, damn, so these guys are actually out there hustling. That's what like kind of triggered like to like, oh, cool, let's build, let's keep going, let's keep making some stuff, and let's make it to where it's not 20 people making 2,000 orders a day on some crazy stuff or building all this other stuff. Right. I mean, like, that's the big thing, like with Ray Allen, like I feel like people feel like when it's like they think it's like manufacturers is big, like everyone outsources things, like nah, everything's fucking made here, right behind this wall.
And anybody wants to come see it, we'll show you.
Yeah, it's the real deal when it comes to this stuff over here. But let's talk about like the semicom suit. So yeah, because everyone always talks to me like, oh, the puppy suit and all this other stuff. Like, people don't like to get bit by dogs, and especially like when you work with like law enforcement agencies. These guys aren't decoys; they're just basically people running in that.
Right. And the people that are above them don't want to pay medical bills because a dog bit them and tore them open. So they tend to get these big suits. And this is the thing that I kind of want to just go back just a little bit, where it's like, shout out to Blake Douglas, because I remember we were in a chat and some stuff was going on, and like someone was pretty harshing on being pretty harsh to Ray Allen. And Blake goes in there and he goes, well, they're a small company. What do you expect? And then the guy goes, ha, small company. And Blake's like, I think like 30 people work there. And yeah, we have 34. You like from top to bottom, from the president to all the way down. And, you know, and it was just like, and the guy was like, really? Like, I thought they were doing, like, he goes, dude, like, you need to like look. Like, you're just assuming that this is like this giant Walmart of dog gear. And it's really not. Like, it's just, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that not a lot of people see. And that's kind of what we want to do, is show that light. No, I was just talking about, you know, with the semi-comp suit, like, trust me, you know, I'm the guy that works for Ray Allen. We would like to see people in the semi-comp suit too. More people working in those suits. But if the market is there and people need that suit, if they want to feel safer catching dogs in that suit, we're going to make it. You know, we're not just going to tell them, well, you need to go somewhere else. Like, we want to make that suit for them. You know, we want everybody to be able to enjoy dogs, enjoy working dogs, enjoy working whatever they want to do, whether that's police or that's, you know, government agencies or that's search and rescue, like whatever they do, we want to provide the equipment the best that we can for them. And that's where, you know, we were missing that
part of the spectrum.
Like the semi-comp, right?
Yeah.
You know, we were missing that until Mike was like, hey, like, you know, I use other companies' suits. They work really well, but I would like to see a Ray Allen semi-comp suit. Could we make that? You know, and it was very quickly, yes, let's do it, you know. So, yeah.
Now we're here with like 4 or 5 products later down the wormhole 2 years later. And, you know, I think like that's a really important thing. Like, people understand, like, not everyone's like a sport decoy. Not everyone is, you know, a decoy in general, or helper, or man of attack, as they say in French ring. Like, not everyone is that. There's
just the ones on the Instagram.
Just all the IG guys. But, you know, that's an important thing to, when you start looking at social media, you start talking about suits and everything, you know, and when it comes to law enforcement agencies, a lot of these guys don't have a budget to buy a giant, you know, or a custom, you know, suit. Comp suit, semi-comp suit. No one has to do that. It's all out of their own pocket. Sometimes
they want a suit to last 15 years.
Yeah, and they need a suit that's just going to run through a bunch of guys, and like people can just pop the suit on and all this other stuff. So I mean, like, they don't have the budget for it. I mean, despite what most people think, you know, the canine departments, you know, military and law enforcement, they're fairly underfunded, and especially like in California. I mean, a lot of these guys have to pay for their own training. They have to outsource their own stuff. So this is the cool thing that Ray Allen's doing, is, you know, they have a variety of suits that people can alternate through, whether the big puffy ones, or you can get a custom suit, or you have the, you know, the different, I guess, sizes and the semi-comp as well. But let's, so off of that subject, let's talk about what happened this last couple of days.
Mike came on to me pretty strong. I said no multiple times. Didn't work. It was the beard. No, so you know, with COVID going on, and anybody in the law enforcement and just training spectrum, we saw that all the shows got canceled, hits, everything got pushed, Blue Line, everything got pushed next year. And so there wasn't really any travel or anything that we were doing. We hadn't done anything in a while. If you've gone on our social in the last 3 or 4 months, you've seen every week we've been dropping a product video. Matt Aikenhead and his team out in Virginia have been doing those. And we wanted a little variety. So we wanted me, Mike, and a couple other people to do some videos. And so we set up a 2-day, 3-day. They were here for 3. Mike was here for 2. Kind of training, product, everything we could go through a video. And we did some interviews and stuff like that. So you came in Wednesday night, and then Thursday. Yeah. So Thursday was super interesting. We went out to a pretty awesome property. Goals, like shooting range, goals. Everything awesome. Dojo, like Mike tried to choke me out and I just beat his ass. It's fine. So you know, we worked dogs out there, worked the PD dogs, got a bunch of good content and photos and stuff like that. And then, you know, you'll see some of the videos coming out of Mike showing some of the product video. We did some interviews. We did one with this lovely face over here. And I had to stop him stop him from making dick jokes the entire time.
That's actually very factual.
It was literally constantly, and then I had to jump in and be like, "That's what you said," and then
sorry,
it just kept
CT.
going.
Kept thrusting in front of you.
So we did that. You guys are gonna see videos from Victor Marks, and you're gonna see videos from Jake Hutchinson. And if you guys don't know who Jake Hutchinson is, then you definitely should follow him too. Also, not too. But he's a search and rescue avalanche guy. If you look at Working Dog Radio, like there's a video on him, and it's really, really good. Yeah, John Abrams, that's right, bro. Like full on, just.
Can you send Jake's thing to those guys?
So, but yeah, so we did a bunch of product videos. So you should talk about some of the stuff you did.
Yeah, so I mean, it's always kind of surreal to kind of just fly down here, and especially when these guys bring me out, like, and me and Aaron
Fly.
I fly up here. I don't fucking care. Like, it's the same shit. Like, I just fly to somewhere. Aaron used to give me that shit all the time when I'm like, I'm flying to Minnesota. I'll fly down to Minnesota. She's like, you're flying up to Minnesota. I'm like, does it really fucking matter? I'm flying to somewhere. I am flying to this place.
Up to.
Or whatever. I don't give a fuck. But it's always kind of surreal when we fly out to these places, and whether it's up or down or where the fuck we're going. It's always kind of surreal the fact that I get to do this stuff, and we get to do anything that we do really. And when we talked about it months ago, or a month ago, figuring out what we're doing in a typical Matt Wilson style, I didn't know what I was doing until like 2 days before, even though we were booked to be out here. And immediately once we got in, kind of the work started. We filmed our interview, or we did a meeting upstairs. We filmed the interview. I think we didn't do any product stuff, and then we shot out to that amazing property, and then just the work started from there. Got mic'd up, started describing some of the products that we were working on or working with, and what's actually available to people, and then started getting bit by dogs, and it was just really cool. I mean, the altitude definitely kicked my ass, even though I thought I came in somewhat good shape. It definitely, the first bite's always the hardest one in Colorado Springs. And we just kind of went from there, and then going into day 2, showing up, doing the product videos. I don't really process any of this stuff until I leave, because it's always such a whirlwind, and
no, for me too. I work here, so.
Well, I mean, like the way that I kind of described it to Aaron was like, it's like being like, someone who plays like basketball or like football or something like that. Like, you're just doing this, and then all of a sudden, like, Nike calls you and they're like, "Hey, can you start helping me with shit?" Like, that's exactly how I felt when it came to like Ray Allen. I was like, "Motherfucker, like what?"
We're not Nike.
I mean, it's association based, like just big companies. We don't use little children to make shoes or anything like that. We don't.
Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, no, we don't.
We don't outsource. Everything's American made. It's right here.
Thank you.
Again, and now they're not little kids. They're grown ass adults. I see them all the time when I come here. But it was one of those like surreal moments where you get to see those things, and you're obviously a part of something that's big. Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I got a killer suit that you guys are probably seeing online. Yeah, and it was just a awesome experience. So tons of fun stuff, and I'm sure you guys will be seeing all those things coming out here pretty soon in the content between Ray Allen and ourselves.
Yeah, describe the suit fiasco that you thought you were coming into.
Oh God! All right, so I blew. So everyone always asks me how many suits I got, or how many suits I go through, how many suits I have. I don't have many suits. I just blow through many suits, and I go through suits quite a bit.
All the time. It's like constant. Like, I don't know anybody else that takes this many bites all the time. Like it.
And he gets pissed off at me all the time because I have to call him like every month, a month and a half. I'm like, hey, I need a suit. And like Matt's like, fuck you. Like, they're going to kill you. Like, the suit lady probably hates my guts. I'm pretty sure there's like a picture of me with like a dartboard that she just throws shit at, like, or knives or something, or shoots.
Yeah, FBI most wanted picture. It's him.
But I mean, I take a lot of bites. I work dogs pretty much every single day, or most of the time. And I go through suits, and no matter what. I mean, even before I worked with Ray Allen, did the same thing. With the other, actually more often. But now, like, working here, doing the stuff that we're doing, I blow through suits quite often. And, Matt, I blew to the last suit he got me, and then you guys got blown up with orders. And then was like, Matt, I was like, I need another suit. And Matt's like, dude, I can't fucking do it. Like, I'm so like, he's working 12-hour days over here doing what he's doing. Like,
Not
so, or when you guys were understaffed?
Yeah.
So he's working his thing, and he's telling me, he's like, he's like, I can't get it done. I was like, all right. So I come here, like, all right, cool. I bring the suit top that I just destroyed, and Matt's like, all right, I'm gonna have my suit that you're gonna wear. And as you can see, Matt and I are very different in size. He's all, it's gonna be
a lot prettier than him too.
Yeah, that's not, that's factual.
It's the mustache.
So he's like, I got on the phone call with him. He's like, all right, well, you're gonna have to wear my suit. It's gonna be a little snug. And he just sent me a suit beforehand. It was for someone, I don't know what the dimensions on were this person, but it definitely didn't fit me well. And so I'm thinking, all right, cool. So I have to wear a snug suit, and I'm gonna be in elevation. This is gonna suck. So I go upstairs and like, I'm just, all right, whatever, man, I deal with it. And he shows me the suit's gonna wear. I'm like, all right, cool. This is not that bad. Like, I can kind of work in it. And then brings it back, and then they surprised me with the new suit, which was awesome. And I was just like, all right, cool. Don't be a bitch. I can't cry. So, and then like just do that stuff. So it was awesome. It was a great experience in general. Then we, did our interviews, and then I went out and we worked dogs. Like that's going into the, most experienced decoys, working a brand new suit first day with anything like that, with dogs you don't know, in a new environment is, kind of when most people were like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen here.
Yeah,
but
we were like, look pretty. We only got we only got a small amount of time to get this done.
And it's hot. It's hot for Colorado, right?
Mm-hmm.
Record breaking heat wave here. But we got it done, and it was awesome. It was, that speaks volumes to the suit, the manufacturing of the suit, and everything they were going, because it allowed me to do the job I needed to do relatively quick. We did lifts, we did catches, we did groundwork, we did all those things there. In a new place with new dogs and a brand new suit and all this other stuff.
Yeah, it's funny because me being, like I wanted to make sure that it looks perfect, and like the first thing you do is like the features and benefits video, and you're standing out there and it's brand new and it's never been worn before. And he's like, yeah, and it's like really flexible. And it was like pretty flexible, but obviously not worked yet flexible. And he's like, yeah, the legs are, and he's moving, and he's kind of moving like this. And I'm like, oh my God. And then literally works one dog, and the whole thing just started loosening up. And he's just like, oh, and I was like, can we do the features and benefits video again? Because it looks way better now, because we all know what it's like to get the, saliva in it, to get the
sweat building on the inside.
Right, yeah. So you start working those materials a lot better. So
only reason why I probably didn't do that is because I got ridiculously sweaty.
Okay, this dude sweats so much. Like, if anybody out that's doing this thing on PCU, and obviously a lot,
33 people.
Okay, 733 people. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to really look into like sweat guards, like, something to help with that. If it's a supplement or if it's like clothing he can wear that absorbs it, maybe sponges out the bottom. Aaron can come over and like squeegee him, and it will like pull all the moisture away from like the suit, like something. I just need help because
ShamWow.
Like he literally sat there the entire time. He got in this suit and I could see the beads of sweat, and I was like,
didn't do nothing.
We haven't moved. He's like, what? I'm putting it on. I'm like, it's horrible.
There's a funny one that the picture that I just posted was that I'm literally holding like the sweater, just ready for that.
That's how he thinks of Ray Allen. You got your brand new hoodie and was like,
it wasn't even.
That's my sweat guard.
This was suggested by them, and also that was the sweater that I got to the in-sleeve fight with. So, So what's up and coming here with Ray Allen? Like what products are we working on? That's a goddamn lie.
I'm not working on anything.
I've been back there. There's quite a bit of stuff. Matt just says I want more stuff to do.
Right. That. So with you working on a couple different projects, we're gonna have actual drinks and dogs. No, okay. And we've got Axel, the most beautiful GSD ever walking around. A couple things that we're working on is you guys have seen our incog pouches and our tree pouches, pocket pouch, hoodie pouch, stuff like that. You've seen a little sneak peek. If you go on to Primal Canine, you'll see you'll see a couple of sneak peeks of a couple things we're working on. We're working on trainer clothing, which is like a hoodie or a sweatshirt or a t-shirt with trainer pockets built into it. And we haven't quite figured out exactly how we're going to do it or colors or anything like that. I'm a pretty big tactical guy, and so I want black multicam on everything and multicam on everything. But you'll see a picture with me standing there headless because you can't see it, and the GSD that's here and sitting in front of me with a hoodie shirt on, and he's taking a couple pictures with a Primal Canine crew neck, and they're pretty sweet. So, I mean, that's something that's coming down the line. Hopefully, we can do that quickly. With us being also, a big government contract company, the big thing that you guys don't see is you don't see the contracts that come in from, the military bases, and, September to October is the end of the fiscal year for the government. That's when all of them are spending their money and doing those orders. So those are that's the big things that we're working on. We ramp up pretty heavily the couple months heading into that, making sure that we can try to get as many orders out the door, and then prepare for those bigger orders, because those are the things that take time for us, because like we said, we're not actually a giant company like people think we are. So we're working on that kind of stuff. So we're hopefully going to work through some of that, Primal Canine Ray Allen clothing, and I'm calling it Primal Allen. That's actually pretty cool. It's going to 100% have a mullet and a mustache, and it says Primal Allen. I'm gonna have Worthless make the logo for
it. It's like the third. It's like super Primal Allen the third.
Yeah, yeah.
With the southern accent.
Yeah, Primal Allen number 3. So we're going to make that clothing. We're working on, we're going to keep improving on the suit. We think that's very, very important. Making small adjustments as we hear from like Mike and we hear from our customers that I like this, I don't like that. We can start making small adjustments as, the new ones come. And one of the big things that we have been slacking on, and I know, and I apologize, is the leg primal gauntlets. Because you guys you guys are killing it on the primal gauntlets for the arms. We can't even keep them in stock. It's pretty awesome. Sean, stop taking life fights in them, please. It's killing me. And you do it on purpose, and I know you do. So if you keep wanting to do that, you're going to come to California, and you're going to do it with Ozzy.
I like you. I will not ever do that to you.
No, I just we're going to do the primal gauntlets, and then we're making the leg gauntlets. So thigh guards and shin guards. Thigh wrap and shin wrap. So we're going to do that. So,
which help a lot, by the way.
He has the first set of them. And the big thing that we're working on is with thighs and stuff like that, because a thigh is very big at the top and it kind of cones down here. Keeping them high and keeping them in place is the difficult part. Unless you're putting like a diamond plate rubber or something on the inside to really like stick them to your slide shorts or whatever it is. So we're working on that issue, whether it is you have to buy both sides, as one set, and they come with like a belt, and so it keeps it higher so you can put it over your way. We're working on that now, and that's the stuff. That's what's taking a long time. Is we don't want to put out a subpar product. If we put out something that like we don't like, we'll never do that. But we also want to make sure that it's something that you guys are going to be excited about and also want to buy and use. we want you to take leg bites because I don't. So, watching, is it Andy doing the ring
Andy,
stuff? Like watching him catch dogs from 50 yards and not blow out his knee is absolutely mind-boggling to me. So, all power to you guys, and we want to definitely help with that, so you guys can save your legs for a little bit longer and work more dogs and work them and save you. So that's kind of the whole point. But so those are coming, yeah, for right now that's about it. Oh yeah, one more thing is we're gonna start working on a training skirt. So if you have like a training apron, it's in the front. A skirt is along the back. So if you can imagine a training vest, and you have the pockets here and the pockets in the back, you're literally cutting it right here and just moving it down to your waist. So you have the pockets in the front, pockets in the back. So we're going to be working on a skirt, and all the PCU trainers are going to get those first, so you guys can see them as they're working in them. And then my thought process is because the PCU, that was kind of the thought behind it and wanting to make that is we're going to probably offer it to you guys first before we offer it to anybody else. So, and we'll talk about that in the future and how we're going to do that, and we'll kind of work that plan out. But you guys are pretty awesome, so we want to make sure you guys are taken care of. And you get kind of first choice on that stuff, on what it should look like. And Mike's going to get on there and kind of show you, like, because I'm, again, tactical, so I want like Ranger green with multicam black, and he wants black and red, like,
or just black.
like, let's make it cool, right? I mean, so yeah, that's kind of what we're working on. So,
well, I mean, and that's like one of like I would say the coolest parts about working with Ray Allen is obviously like the progressional state. Like they're not stagnant. They're not continuously making the same shit that they've made years and years and years and years. Like they're continuously trying to improve and get better and do the things. And I see that when I come here on a daily basis. Not even or when I come here, like when I am here on the daily basis.
Daily basis, he's here every day. It's crazy.
I call him probably on a daily basis, but, which is not a lot.
My girlfriend would know that.
There's like 11 o'clock at night. I got an idea, Matt. Answer your fucking phone, and he's not answering his phone. I'm like, you motherfucker.
That's funny because we'll be watching TV or something, and my girlfriend will be like, "You can answer it." I'm like, "No, it's fine. You can call me tomorrow."
And then I call him tomorrow as soon as I wake up.
Yeah, like noon. Dude sleeps all day, does nothing. It's God, like.
For those who know me, that is not true whatsoever. So let's see. Actually, there's a question that came from one of the Q&As earlier. That you guys have like your service dog handler, vet, or the service whatever for mobility vest you guys have. Mm-hmm. Someone wanted to know if you guys were gonna make, and Aaron, if you can look at the screenshot I sent you. Someone wanted to know if you guys were ever gonna make a long metal handle, I believe, for more support.
So we make a there's the dog. See, drinks and dogs. You're welcome, people. Yeah,
that dog just got done biting me just not so long ago. Let's see here,
hurting its soul. Actually, I've never seen like even Ozzy. He like works Ozzy and he's fine. Like he was crying after him. Okay.
Oh, so any thoughts on making a hard material for long handle for use of mobility harness?
We actually do. We make an assist harness that has 8, 10, and 12-inch handle. It's made out of metal, wrapped in nylon. That's a rigid handle. We don't do any longer than that. We found that the metal kind of gets a little squirrely. If you look up accounts like a Rescue 22, and you look up accounts, it's Evans, Den Mother. On Instagram, he does all the medical stuff for Canine. If you look up their accounts, we actually made them icon harnesses that had the handles built into them for mobility. And so you can kind of look at that. We can do any custom work that you're looking for. The big thing that we're not going to do right now, but we're not really going to get into, which is the big leather assist harnesses that you would see on like a a sight dog or a lead dog or anything like that. They're very intricate. That's why they cost as much as they do. You know, they're $400 or $500 that we've seen, and you know, there's shops that are dedicated to just that. I mean, just working, you know, the assist handles and, you know, intricate leather work around the handles and stuff for those kind of harnesses. And those shops do it very well, and all power to them. And we would love to, if anybody has a question on like where, you know, we have a short list of shops that we've talked to about, you know, like that kind of stuff, that we can love to, you know, send you in that direction. So
Cool. So let's get into the manufacturing side just a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So how, like, if you were to say how long it takes to manufacture, let's start with the Nomad, just the skeleton alone, like the time it takes for that to be made.
I know the Icon better, because I was more intimately like building in that one.
Yeah.
So like one of our operators, most of them are really close on the same level, but most of our sewing machine operators, they can make about 6 a day. So at the most, that's with no hiccups, no machine mess ups. That's with Billy and I.
Is that an 8-hour day?
Yeah. So you're looking at, you know, an hour and 20 minutes or whatever for one of the Icons.
And you guys just got a government order for like
137 of them. Yeah. So I mean, that's what's difficult about it is, you know, it's all about the time on a machine, you know, and like you know, like one of the hard things too is you have to imagine if you're the person sewing the stuff, if you're sitting there and that's the only thing you're doing is you're making 100 Icons and you can make 6 a day, it's going to take you a little while, and then you're going to start hating them. And we don't want that to happen either. We want everybody to enjoy their job here as much as we do. And so, you know, I mean, the thing that I usually say is that like the people that work here, especially the ones on the sewing machine, are absolute hammers. I mean, you know, we have a couple people in the suit department that have been here close to 20 years. The leather guy's been here 30 plus years. You know, people usually don't stay at a company that sucks for that long. So, you know, that's, you know, it's, you know, Billy, and like I said, manufacturing's been, you know, over 20, a couple sewers in the nylon department's over 10. So it's, you know, like they enjoy what they do. And we try to, you know, keep them enjoying what they're doing. And so we don't want to do, you know, runs of 100 harnesses because we're just not that kind of shop. You know, we want to dedicate the time to working on that kind of stuff. So,
well, I mean, it's just like it's quality over quantity type of a thing.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and you know, when we interview people, we say it very bluntly. If our stuff fails, people get hurt.
Yeah.
Whether it's a dog or it's a person, you know, failure's not an option for us. We take our time. You know, time comes with it, but we would way rather have a quality product than we ever would, you know, putting out product as fast as possible. It's just not who we are.
Yeah. I mean, quality takes time, and like that's an issue that, you know, a lot of people run into.
I think about a dog.
Yeah.
Good dog isn't built in a day.
Well, it's not the shit that you see on like Instagram. Everyone always expects that right, or like social media in general, everyone expects that right away, but they don't see the years, hours, days, months that go into it. You know, and that's something that's really important for most people to understand. But you know, which segues into like, you know, your dog training experience, you know, which helps you, like, you know, how you've helped, you know, Ray Allen and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So just break down that. How'd you get into dog training?
Can I answer that question? Because I really want to.
Go for it.
Okay. So the question is, I've been wanting to buy an Elusive 2.0 dog collar. Does it only fit the Dr. and Garmin brands? I have a ET, which is a mini educator, right? E-collar that was hoping for it would fit. So Garmin is a 3/4 size, which is actually what the mini educator is, or any of the educators are a 3/4 size band. So if you got a Garmin one, it will fit it just perfect. So you don't have to worry about that.
Perfect.
Yeah. You're talking about dog training?
Dog training. So let's talk about how you got started in dog training.
As dumb as it is, 2006-ish, 2007. So a little bit before that, my sister, she was working to become a zoologist. She was volunteering. We have a wolf rescue here in Colorado. She was volunteering there. My dad was like, stop playing video games. You need to get a job. I'm like, no one's going to hire a 15-year-old. I was like, but she got me a job just being around there and walking around. I was able to pick up poop for cash under the table. Once I got a license, I realized that driving to Divide, which is about an hour and a half away from Colorado Springs, was not my forte to do every day. And the only place that I could find that was hiring a 16-year-old was PetSmart. Went to PetSmart, was a cashier sitting on the cash register, do you have a PetPerks card? Doing that every day. And I got burnt out super fast. It's just not for me. And I was like, I am quitting. And they were going, I don't know what it was, but they weren't finding much help at the time. They said, well, what would keep you staying? And I was like, honestly, they're like, we can bump, do a little raise, or, I know I'm 16, so they're going to give me, 10 more cents and think I'm happy. And it had nothing to do with that. It was just, it was just boring. And I'm just not made for that. And so they were like, well, there's a dog trainer position. Have you ever thought about that? And I was like, oh, like, sure. Like, and then, they send us to your dog training school. We all know how great the dog trainers are there. So we did did that right then. So this is 2006, 2007. Right then, the movie I Am Legend came out. And I watched that movie and I saw that German Shepherd and I was like, I want a Sam. And it was funny because a lot of people, they watch movies, with like German Shepherds or a Malinois or like whatever in it, right? And they go, I want that dog. And I literally looked at it and was like, how can I make that dog? Because I've never been really into that kind of stuff. So I was like, how can I do that? Oh yeah, I'm going to be a dog trainer. Like I'm already doing this. Like, and I got really into it. I'd always looked for a Sam, a female German Shepherd. I trained there for a while. I rose up. I did district training for them. There was just kind of worked through that company. We had a veteran come in that more honestly didn't need training for his dog. He just needed to talk to someone. And that was more therapy for him with his dog than training. I can talk, as you guys can see, a lot. And so I can ask my girlfriend.
She's laughing right behind.
Yeah. So I would set up like private training sessions and kind of just mark off that part of the schedule just so he could come in and talk. And it was awesome. I really enjoyed that. I'd never been, I'd never been like dedicated to join the military or that kind of thing, but I just wanted to help people. I've always been wanting to help people. So they started noticing that I was blocking out schedules that weren't paid for. And told me that I had to pay for it, or that this gentleman had to pay for it. And I was like, nah, like we're not doing training. We're just talking. And they're like, okay, well, you can't do that on the clock. I was like, cool. So then I started blocking out schedules off of the clock just to talk to them. And that turned into a big deal. And they gave me an ultimatum that I either have to stop doing that or I have to charge him. And they wanted me to charge him for the time that I had already done free for him for training, which we didn't do much dog training, or I would get like written up and probably fired. And so I quit on the spot. And I left. I was like, I'm gonna start my own company. I can hustle, as Mike as just a dog trainer blows my mind. No, obviously just a dog trainer, but that being the primary job is, I hats off to that, to all of you guys that do that out there. And that's your, main thing, that hustle. I definitely understand. I got kind of burnt out on it. And then the story of kind of coming into Ray Allen and meeting them and them offering me a job. And it was like, cool, I can do this and train on the side. And then it was like, it started progressing more into the Ray Allen and less into the training. And the training background has always been, yes, please, has always been great. But it's not, like, it's not something that I love doing it. I love catching dogs. I love training personal protection. It's one of my favorite things to do. Getting bit is awesome. Building a puppy all the way to adult is one of my favorite things. You can see that progression, and you work that dog into something that you feel, good about that owner having, like I was saying, my girlfriend has an amazing German Shepherd. I wasn't the one that trained it as a puppy or anything like that, but she's done an amazing job with that. And it gives you that peace of mind that, she has just a hammer dog with her. And it's one of those things that, like, I have that passion for that, but I don't have the passion to go out and get clients anymore, and really market and get on Facebook and Instagram and show everybody how cool I am. Like, I don't have that. And so the Ray Allen side gave me that outlet to be creative, to work through that, after I kind of earned my way here, which took a little while, took 2 or 3 years. They started letting me, here's a design, run with it. Hey, I have this idea. Okay, we have 2 weeks where you're pretty slow, run with it. So that was, they gave me the opportunity to really go, the Instagram and Facebook thing. That was the big kind of kickoff, meeting all of these people, meeting all you people. That was the real, that was the real opportunity. I started doing the Facebook and Instagram stuff with a cop that was here, and it got pushed to me, and I was just doing it on my own. And then finally they were like, yeah, keep going. And, it's grown in 3 years to something that I think is pretty good. So,
yeah, major push.
Yeah.
Especially, since we started communicating, just the building, as far as what I've seen with Ray Allen's been huge.
Yeah. I think, not that the number actually matters, but I think that we were at like 10 or something. And we're just about to hit 40.
Nice.
So it's like, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this an Aaron one?
Right.
Is this an Aaron drink here?
Oh,
We're gonna split this one.
So Aaron's making the drinks, and Aaron's from Minnesota, and she makes drinks very, as you can
Kidding. It's not that bad.
very strong. So that's we'll talk about that. All right. So we talked about some of the new projects, some of the other stuff. You talked about puppy stuff, so we also have the puppy thing on the leather puppy stuff, the puppy cuff.
Yeah, so that's a Mike Jones only special. Yeah, for now. You guys might have seen it. When he got set, there was the conversation of, like, she's probably going to be a monster. So that was like, we need to make something that's good. Now the problem is, and you guys know this, right? So product wise, we have the puppy sleeve, the puppy sham, right? Like a rag, made out of leather. The reason why it's leather is it's easier on their teeth. They got a little sharp shark teeth, it's easier on that. As they transition from that, you go to pillow. As you do that, you go to wedge, you go to, a puppy sleeve, and right, and you just transition. The hard part is when you do like the soft sleeves, such as like our targeting sleeve for puppies, which is like a Velcro back sleeve. You can put on your shin to work puppies if you're doing, any of the, Mondio or French ring, or, you can put it up here and you can, really transfer the dog up here and get them to start targeting high, but the problem is that at first it was right now it's only made out of Syntec, which is the suit material, which for a teething puppy, like let's say they're teething from 4.5 months, 5 months, to 6 months, 6.5 months, we're missing literally a month and a half of work because of their teeth. And we all know, like, that month and a half can be crucial, so what, you stop doing everything so you can just only work obedience. So Mike came and was like, set's a monster. We need to,
So before
yeah,
Matt proceeds with this,
hey.
It wasn't set that I asked this for. I asked this for Luther and Zilla, and which was like a year before. I'm like, Matt, I need this. Matt, I need this. Matt, I need this. And then finally,
I don't
Seth
ever
came.
remember those conversations. He can go back through the text messages, but I think he's lying.
100% true. And then finally, I think like Seth came in, and I was like, all right, cool. I used like a Eurodro level 1 little.
How
sleeve.
dare you?
Well, you should have made me my sleeve when I needed it.
Wow.
And look,
By the way, guys, Ray Allen is just in service for Mike Jones at Primal Canine. Just so you know, that's what he just said.
so when I asked him to make it again, what's that?
Say something nice.
I love
Even
it.
your pro.
So when I asked him to make it, he made it very quickly. What's that? And that's, I mean, I love that thing. I think that thing's amazing. I think that's something that should be out to the public. Wilson.
Who?
Wilson.
No. Who?
Not
Mike Jones. I'm kidding. No, who though?
Ray Allen.
Billy Travis.
Wilson. Oh yeah. See, Billy's watching this too. He's gonna hate me even more now because I just destroy the stuff that he gives me. The only thing I haven't destroyed that anything he has given me was that I let a dog bite that pillow he had made me with the teeth on it. That shit is sitting in a very secure, safe place. Not a dog will touch that thing.
Billy's real pumped on that.
I was like,
yeah, we want to make so. That's actually kind of funny. So like, that's an idea that's coming, which is doing red and black leather.
Yeah,
and doing like a Primal Canine puppy like set
series of it.
Yeah, not set the puppy, but series.
You see a bunch of her crazy ass man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's send her over here. Yes, she can terrorize everybody inside the shop.
Yeah, Cody's puppy does that.
Cody. Oh,
yeah, he bites that.
Shout out to Cody and Ruckus and what's the other dog that we work? Max. All right, cool. We got all those things. We targeted everything on that point. Progression in Ray Allen, I see that it's just growing. Growing insanely. That's one of the cool things I get to see over here, and like the stuff that I'm fortunate to see. When I walk back there and I get to talk to Billy, who's essentially I call Dad over here because
it's Daddy,
and he does not like to say you call him Daddy. Billy, I know you're on this. I know you're probably feeling comfortable right now.
Yeah. Please,
Monday, just go ahead and judo throw Matt somewhere.
Yeah, he's also multiple black belt in judo.
Yeah.
So.
Don't get it twisted. Right. At all. That's one of the coolest things I appreciate about Ray Allen is just the ability to, no matter what everyone thinks it being this giant company, just something like they're continuously progressing, and now with the new leadership that you guys have. And Aikenhead, being out here, like this is the first time I met him,
mm-hmm.
Really cool guy, and JD up there. Sorry, I called you Mark before JD. I did not really know that. I thought you were Mark.
Just making up names.
He
also thinks that he saw him in a movie somewhere, so I'm thinking that my president is also a movie star. And
it looks like someone that I've seen in a movie.
I'm really confused.
And then they got this guy, helping.
I'm literally no one, so just make sure of that.
That's a goddamn lie. Let's see. All right, so we've done projects together. Mm-hmm. We have done the suit. Mm-hmm. That's taken 2.5 years, and we're still progressing on that. The Incog, which I feel is probably the best street pouch out in the market when it comes to.
Yeah, it's pretty legit. I mean, that was like that. It's funny because I have like the hoodie that I still have an Ethos first hoodie that my border collie ripped in. Fucking hole in the front of it because he was like, "There's food in there." Son of a bitch. Because I can never wear like the cool like stuff. I could just never wear like the stuff. It always went in my pocket, and then I fucking forget about it. And half the time I'd put it through the laundry.
Oh yeah.
Like the treats where they get like matted to the clothes. I'm like, yeah. So yeah, when you were like, "Yeah, have you ever thought about this?" I'm like, "I have. I've been using a plastic bag. Let's make something." So yeah, that was one of my favorite projects because it was one of those where like the suit, and this is me being selfish, but the suit was like Billy and like the girls next door and like it was everybody. There was a bunch of moving parts that we were talking about to like make that work.
Yeah, and
then like the Incog, like that was the first project where it was like you and me. Like that was like, oh my God, yeah. And we're like talking on the phone. I'm like, okay, I got to send you this. And I like overnight you a package. And you're like, you'd put it in. You're like, oh, I don't like it. I'm like, okay, what do you don't really like? And he's like, fix this. I'm like, okay, bro. And we just keep going. Like, yeah, I was really excited about that. That was one of the most like fun because it all flowed really well. and then it was like the product was made and it was out and it was done.
I remember the flight home after we finalized the incog, and like we were stuck in Denver, and like I'm not gonna name the name of like the company, but like that company put out, like this street pouch, and like immediately me and Aaron
Okay, so this company makes a tree pouch, right? So the view,
we did it live the same day.
So we're telling everybody about this. This company that also makes dog equipment puts a picture out that they made this tree pouch, and it looks damn near the same. Not understanding that we didn't know how big it was. It literally looked exactly the same. It was like stitch for stitch. It was like, holy shit, like, are you kidding me? And he's freaking out. I mean, just so mad. He's like, I'm going to go talk to them. I am pissed. And then, like, literally, I don't know if they knew that we were like mad. And literally the next day, they post a picture with it on, like, and it was an outside the tree pouch, clipped on a belt, and the thing's huge. Like, it's nowhere near like what we were doing, and it was so coincidental. But it was funny because that was the talk that we had, where it was like, people are gonna make this stuff.
Yeah.
Other people make dog equipment. Like for instance, like Modern Icon. Like me and Lee talk all the time. He's a great guy. We talk about ideas. We talk about stuff that's going on. We like working with people. But yeah, that was pretty funny. I remember that you sent me that screenshot and you were screaming.
I was pissed. That was the baby, man.
Yeah. And again, that was the first one that was like you and me. Like, you were pissed. Like
we're at the Denver PF Chang's or something, like Gordon Biersch or something. And I'm just sitting there, just like grabbing the table. It's like, fucking Matt, I'm about to lose my goddamn mind right now. At the end, they might have called you. Like it was, I don't even know what time it was, but it was late for sure because no, that wasn't even Denver. That was shoot. Yeah, that was somewhere else, but flying around. I'm like,
you definitely did call Matt though.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
I'm like losing my goddamn mind.
Yeah, you sent me the picture. Text me. I didn't text you back within 6 seconds, and the phone call was there.
That's how passionate we are, folks. That's how passionate.
We love our gear.
I mean, we're a little bit crazy, but we're very passionate.
All dog people are. It's fine. That's why we all love each other.
And then the other project, the Decoy Armor. So the Decoy Armor came about with me getting destroyed by Aaron's dog, Ozzy, and having something. And this is the cool thing that
literally, like not even. Like, he's just such a baby, right? You guys have watched those videos, like. I mean, it's a great dog, but like he just talks like this dog is like this gorilla, and it's kidding. Because he literally that's all he says is, I'm just gonna drive him out there so he can fucking hurt you. That's all I want. I just want him to hurt you.
And I absolutely hate driving. We even contemplated like last minute, like, all right, can we lie and say that Ozzy's like a law enforcement dog so we can get on the airplane? But then I was like, all right, cool. As soon as Stu just comes up, it's going to be a wrap. And he's like,
just muzzle punches the shit out of someone.
And that's the dog that knocked me unconscious, which is, doesn't happen
very often.
But at all. So we got the Decoy Armor, which is coming out. We talked about that, the upper body that we already have. There's some new videos coming out on Ray Allen, so make sure you guys check out that site. And I think it's going on your YouTube too.
Yeah.
The videos. And then the leg stuff is coming out too. All obviously additional protection and easy mobility with those things. And the cool thing I learned when we started working with that was the differences in leather. Because I always called what you guys called Latigo, I called like Latigo leather, which is like the harder one, which is like I learned years later.
That's the Spanish roots right there, Latigo.
It was. He's like, no, it's called Latigo. And I think like JD and he looked at me like, what the fuck? I never heard it say that way. I was like,
what's Latigo?
I was like, California? I don't know. But I'd learned the differences, and that's the cool thing about some of the leather products, and also the leather gauntlets is the apron leather.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a game changer in a sense where you provide protection, but you can also feel them.
Well, the dog can feel you. That's the important part, right?
And it reinforces that that negative reinforcement where if they don't get it, they can they're going to lose it even through a really thinner suit, like the ones that we wear. They feel it, and they're not getting a hold of like a Neo where they can sink their teeth in. They're not getting a hold of the skin where they can sink their teeth in. They're getting a hold of this thing where they're continuously having to dig and push forward and do all that stuff. So not only does it help one, keep the decoy safe so they can work as many dogs as they can, but it also can help, reinforce, crushing forward digging bites as well.
Yeah, I remember when we first like showed the pictures of those, and we had this and like a bunch of comments on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and one guy was like, "This stuff's for pussies, you gotta earn your bruises and blah blah blah," and like all this stuff, and literally, it was either you, I think it was you, and you're just like, "That's a guy that hasn't been fucked up enough." And that's exactly why we made these, is because we've been in suits all day, and we've been to where like the next day our arms literally are back black and blue all the way over our shoulder and down our chest, and we literally can't lift it because it hurts so bad. And so like we have to, like we make these things like not so we can be like, oh, I just want to sell you something that you don't need. Like there's a need for this kind of stuff. And like I said earlier, we literally can't keep them on the shelf. Like decoys use this stuff, and that was, and you can hats off to Billy because he actually named it. He was like, we're going to name this the Primal Canine Gauntlet, because it was really something that was, the incog and the hoodie pouch was like, can we work together? And then it was like that solidified it, and then like we wanted to name something after him, after Mike and the company that he's built, because it was important for us as Ray Allen being the Walmart of the dog industry. No, but it was important for us that we've been in business for 72 years to also show, homage to a guy that's been in business for 8. That was important for us. It was important for us to give that, like, yeah, you're, that attaboy to, the person that's willing to do that, and talk to us about gear and go, no, that sucks, we should do it like this. No, this is good, let's fix this. Instead of, no, it's not good, I'm just going to go to some other company that can make it. And being able to work together is literally what's made all of these great things that you guys enjoy. And also, obviously, you guys are following with a PCU because of the training. There's a reason that like we all work together, and he's kind of the epicenter of it.
And, always blessed, I guess I'd say, to be able to do what I do, and be with this company. I was like hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed.
I mean, I'm not even religious, but I mean, that's all.
Hashtag blessed, bro.
Have you watched that comedy? That dude that did the fucking comedy thing about that?
Yeah, yesterday we were there.
Yeah. Hashtag blessed. Oh no,
yeah, I know. Inside joke, you won't get it.
Yeah, you guys will get that. So, although everything Matt said was amazing and great, and always appreciative of it, for the idiots that think doing bites with no gauntlets and using thin suits, and think that's a badge of honor and all this other stuff, you can't be more completely wrong. With
longevity is a thing, by the way.
Well, that and marking, you're marking specific behaviors. If stuff hurts tiny bits, you're not going to create pain compliance and great pain compliance when you are literally moving every single time and creating muscle flexion and marking different things by your verbal thing. So earning the bites is not the thing. And also let's talk about nerve damage. How many dogs can you work when you have nerve damage and you have muscle tears? I mean, I have half a pec on my left side. I have nerve damage on my bicep by having that concept of, you got to man up and do this bullshit. And it's retarded. You can wear a thin suit, but put these extra gauntlets on and, work the same amount and still use your muscle flexion with the apron leather, what they can fill, and a Neo on there, and still work a dog for as many times as you want. I work 20 dogs a day, essentially. I have Aaron's dog, Ozzy, was a hammer, and I work that dog for 10, 15 minutes at a time, if not longer. And
which is insane to me.
Yeah, and it's continuous. And these guys they saw that Matt made me a special fabric suit, which I probably shouldn't have said right now. He's probably mad at me after I get off this conversation. But we blew through that, in a month and a half. And that was just continuous work through COVID.
Yeah, it's like, but it's testing that stuff, It's like, that's, it's like.
Well, he also popped a fucking Kevlar sleeve too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because, shout out Mark Wayne. He's a Viking of a person, giant human. I can't remember his company. He's in Georgia, I think, but he does tracking dogs. And he talked about that. He goes, he showed this picture of him, you know, I think it was just out of the Marine Corps or something, and he was catching a dog. And he goes, I wish I could tell that guy to wrap his knees. I wish I could tell that guy to, you know, like wear gauntlets. I wish I could, you know, like, and he wrote this whole thing, you know, and I think the picture was from like 10 years ago, but where he's like, now I have trouble bending down, you know, because dogs have hit my legs so many times, my knees are just wrecked. You know, he's like, he's got arthritis in his hand and nerve damage in it, you know, so, you know, and I think the hard part is, you know, like I watch videos of like fucking Reaver, you know, being like 80 and just hammering dogs. And I'm like, I want that, you know, like I want to be that guy, but to be that guy, you also have to take care of yourself. And that's, you know, not just taking care of yourself as a person, you know, and like working out and doing that kind of stuff, but taking care of yourself as, you know, using the equipment that's going to not only be best for the dog, but it should be best for you too. Yeah. You shouldn't have to suffer to make a good dog. Like, you know, I'm like, that's kind of ridiculous to me. Like, you should suffer in the work. You shouldn't have to suffer in the equipment. You know, it shouldn't suck to wear something and to build something good. You know, and I think that's where kind of Mike and I are coming from. That, like, you know, people that have, you know, like, he's obviously worked more dogs than me because he works about 20 a day. You know, but like, you know, we have all worked and got our scars and our battle scars and that look cool for Instagram to be like, oh, look at this, look at the bruising. But, you know, getting a dog to, you know, work, you know, like I can make a dog hammer someone in a hidden sleeve using one of our police suits. You know, yeah, he doesn't feel me, but I can still be like, you know, and work him. I know when he rebites. I know when the pain compliance should be there. You know, that's not the suit that's doing that. That's me. You know, and I think that's also the important part is that you need to, like, everybody needs to understand that it's also not just about the equipment. You know, like we are humans, right? And we're trying to work dogs that we don't understand, you know, because we can't tell them to, hey, I love you. You know, like they're primal animals. Get it? But, you know, we're trying to work those things and we're trying to communicate with them with body language. And we can do that with anything. You know, like you don't need this high speed thing. You don't need that. You don't need this. What you need is you need the equipment that's going to work for you to make the dog better. Because realistically, that's what we're here for, right? Like we're here to make the dog better. Like that's what we're all getting this for.
Yeah, and like what you're saying is like, a lot of it's just understanding of what the dog's doing in front of you.
Right. Yeah, right. And like I've seen, you know, it's like it's super funny. I was talking to Ted about this. You know, he was like, oh, you know, it's like it's just, you know, people are like, oh, like you only have to do muzzle hits or the dog won't see, you know. Oh my God, I love you too. Yeah, I'm sorry. The dog's running around. He's here. So you know, I was talking, yeah, like Ted, it was probably 2 years ago we were talking about this, and he's like, dude, I've had someone on like a big bulky suit and they wrecked someone's soul in real life just fine. Like, not saying that's what you should use, and like there's better equipment and you should always go for the better stuff, but like it all does come down to the training. It all does come down to the relationship between the dog and the human, and getting, you know, like getting that connection to where it betters the dog in the long run, because that's what we're all here for. But we can not better the dog in the long run if we're so trashed that we can't keep working.
Yep.
So that's what they're there for, you know, and that's, you know, that's heavier than it should have been, but you know, like that's exactly what it is. You know, if you're so trash that you can't work a dog longer than, you know, 30 seconds, like I was yesterday. But if you're so trash you can't do that, then, you know, like there's literally no point. You're not building anything anymore. you're just giving them like a toy to play with, and then it's like, have a good one.
Yeah, you're working in that adrenaline zone,
Right?
where the thought process isn't necessarily there. All right, so I think I'm about just out of time here. So I want to first of all, I want to thank Ray Allen and then Matt Wilson here for everything and anything you guys do for us and you do for the community and continuously progress. Just dog equipment in general, even being 70 plus fucking years in the industry, continuously pushing forward and making things better and greater every single time, and just fucking listening to me, like, and involving our stuff in and making things better. So I understand and appreciate that. And I want to thank you for that. So let's cheers to that.
Absolutely.
And then also, guys, make sure you check out rayallen.com. They have tons of equipment. It's not just working dog stuff. It's pet stuff. It's everything and anything. It's your mecca of dog training equipment. That's where you need to go for all your stuff, high quality stuff. It's all built, manufactured here. Everything's amazing. I've seen it firsthand. And yeah, man, anything you want to say, Matt?
Yeah, I just, I want to thank you for the relationship too. It's hard when, you get, and you guys probably get this too, a bunch of people that hit you up for dog training advice, or, we get hit up for product and stuff all the time, where it's like, like, oh, I have a couple hundred followers. Can I have an impact crate? I'm like, what? And I will say this, like, Mike has literally never asked me for something. Like, he has, but he's never been like, hey, I need you to send me this for free because you owe me this. Like, it's never been that, and I was talking to the other guy that we're working on a partnership with. And that was, like this guy, he's big in what he does, and he's a very popular person. And, like, he was like, is it okay if you could you send me a collar? And I'm like, yeah, like, what else do you need? It's never been that, it's never been that, like, I'm an influencer, send me this and I'll post 2 times a day. Like, it's like, how can we work together? Not how can, because in all reality, we want to benefit you. Like, it's not a beneficial thing for us. It's a beneficial thing for you. If we can work together, you guys can get better products for your dogs to work than thing. So I say all that to say this, like, thank you to him. The amount of work that the Primal Canine team, and I don't know everybody else very, very personally, but Aaron and Mike especially, like, the amount of work that they put in just to get this stuff done is, especially behind the scenes, is pretty ridiculous. And some of the stuff that you don't see, like, I literally commend, like, the hard work that they put in, because it's pretty admirable. And so really, all cheers to you. Like, thank you for just being, like, the human that you are. Like, yeah. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been, I think, 3 years since we first started talking.
It's crazy as fuck.
Yeah, right.
Well, shit, guys. Thanks for tuning into this Drinks and Dogs. Obviously, you guys can watch this later. And people who are watching this later, this is always up here. Make sure you check out rayallen.com for
primalcanine.com.
For all your equipment needs,
for all your training needs,
and Primal Canine University. Make sure you hit those guys up. And yeah, guys, we are done for the evening. So you guys have a great night. Be safe. Enjoy your Friday or whatever day you're fucking watching this. And yeah, see you later.